How y'all doing? My name's Derek, and I had the desire to make this video because I had gone down I don't want to say gone down the rabbit hole, I had gotten into the law of attraction teachings that's really prevalent on YouTube, in podcasts, etc. And there's a conception that I think is not quite helpful to us that I'd really like to address. And people that are believers in God that came down as a man, if you believe that God came down as a man and you're trying to figure out what the law of attraction means, or is that something that you can utilize? Is it something that you can believe in? And I definitely believe yes, you can. I've watched other videos because I also had this thought, like, what if it's something that's bad? What if it's something that's evil? And I watched some other videos. Some people said, like, I tried the law of attraction and it worked, and now I'm going to stop because it's scary, because it's of the devil or something like this. So first I want to say that I am going to reference the Bible in this. The first reference I would say is that every good thing comes from God. There's a big misconception, I feel, in our society that says that do what feels good, and that's not the Christian way. It's kind of like contradictory to what is the reality, because God is the one that created us and created our desires. The example I like to use is, as a man, you have a penis and it fits in a vagina very well and it feels good. And this is just a physical reminder that you are designed to experience good things. And I've used that example before in a previous video, but I don't think anybody's watched my videos yet, so, so that's okay. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say, or what I'm going to get to in this video, is just my own experiences. What made me decide to make this video, what made me decide to talk about why the law of attraction is a good thing, but it's not something that we should be focused on. So I have my list here. My law of attraction experience is just, I grew up attracting things that I desired, and I wasn't even aware of it. And I think the great thing about learning about the law of attraction is it teaches us to stop and reflect and think, wow, wait a minute, because when something comes into our life, in reality, when we get something, we don't really change. Our mood, it doesn't change. It doesn't quite, give us that happiness that we thought that it would. And that's another thing I'm going to go into, is that there's a way to get that happiness that's even better than if we were to obtain it on our own, if we were to obtain that thing that we're trying to get on our own. So yeah, I grew up, I would get things in my life, I would see signs, and I think some things that really stood out is when I was in Tokyo. I was abroad for 10 years. I was in Tokyo, I was talking to my friend. She was showing me this video on YouTube of this famous YouTuber. I had never heard of her before. Her name is Chika English or something like that. In Japan, she's really famous. And I didn't know anything about it. The next day I was walking around and I met her. The very next day. I didn't really think like, wow, I want to meet this girl. I didn't think that in my head, but I just met her. And I told her, hey, I heard about you last night, and can I take a picture with you or something? I took a picture of her. She was super nice. She had like a camera team following her. And I posted it on Facebook, and all these people were like, wow, I know her. Hey, how did you meet her? Blah, blah, blah. That's just one example. So Tokyo's got, how many people has it got? 13 million. I think that sounds familiar, that number. And the same thing happened where I saw this girl on TV, and I thought to myself, like, I want to meet this girl. She's really cute. And I took a picture of the TV screen, and I had her on my phone. So these stories, basically, I have it in another video in the channel, but I'm just going over my own, experiences. And then I met the girl on the subway. I talked to her and stuff like that. So what kind of got me not understanding things is when I was, because I believe that God's love is so deep that He actually came to the earth. And the biggest display of love is not only dying for someone, but if you want to show even more love, you would suffer for someone and then die for them, and suffer humiliation, pain, physical suffering, spiritual suffering, and then die for someone. So that's like the ultimate display of love. And if we look in nature around us, we just see just the wonders of how everything fits together. And there's just so much display of love and nature, and yet our society gets that out of our head. Our society, just makes us forget about that, makes us take away the mystery of life. So yeah, what tripped me up was like, well, what about people who don't really acknowledge the creator and who want to focus on the system itself, the universe, they call it? Is it right to do that? So I believe that God still smiles on you when he gives you something. And I like to think of it as like you're an infant. So if parents have an infant and that infant likes the color red, and then the parents are shopping for toys and they see a red toy and a blue toy, they're going to pick the red toy, even though the infant is not going to be like, wow, you knew that I liked red, thank you so much. So it's like we're all children, we're all God's children. Some of us are infants, some of us are more like adults, right? Depending on our spiritual, depending on our relationship with the Creator. And it also says in his word that, well, one of the apostles was writing to an early church and said, like, I don't want to give you solid food. I have to give you milk, like you're an infant still in a learning process. So that's the way I see it, is people can be infants. God lets the rain fall on, it says, God said he lets rain fall on the wicked and the good because he loves both of them. And it also says that he's not willing for any of them to be lost. He wants to give everybody a chance to hear, the good news and to make the choice, who is going to be your ruler of your life. So when people say, like, yeah, I can manifest even though I don't thank the Creator, I thank the system, the universe. You can do that, yeah, but there's something even deeper, I believe, because the whole idea of us focusing on the law of attraction is flawed in itself. There's just so many, Abraham Hicks, there's the movie The Secret, there's, I listen to a lot of the videos from Abraham Hicks, and it sounds like she's got this massive crowd there that's just waiting to hear more about the law of attraction, how to get what they want, And it's proven, it's very clear to us that getting a lot of money is not going to make you happy. Getting a lot of, getting love, maybe you get a really amazing relationship, but after a certain time, you're going to get used to it, and the passion kind of fades, and you're just kind of back to where you were. So basically, happiness is and remains an inside job. But what's even greater is when God, in the form of a flesh, as Jesus said, seek first his kingdom, and all that you want will be provided for you, all that you need, basically. And for me in my life, I found that the greatest happiness is when I try to understand what's going on in my life and how it all fits together. And then I'm able to realize, like, wow, I saw what you did there. And I see like this amazing tapestry where everything is fitting together. And even like the story where I just met this going back to what I was saying, when I met this woman on the subway, I don't know why that happened, right? But I did tell that story to one of my friends who was very much westernized, scientific. He had just the way of thinking that was westernized, scientific, and it was just based on chance. There is no spiritual element to it. It's just all based on chance. And I just had to tell him that story, and maybe that happened just so I could tell him that story. I don't know. We'll see. Or maybe it's to tell you guys. So a lot of people also, they're kind of still, confused about how to use the law of attraction, and they get stuck on like, okay, I got to let it go, and then I'll get what I want. And even then, the attempt to let it go is basically you're putting energy into letting it go, and that's also pushing it away, because you're focusing on, you're obsessing with something. So I believe as a parent, again, back to the God-child analogy, like if I had a child and he was obsessing over this toy, I think the right thing would be to ask him to stop obsessing over it, and maybe I'll buy it for him if he stops like obsessing over it. Why? Because I don't want him to base his happiness on getting this toy, because he's going to be disappointed. So when we're able to let go of something, and then when we get it, it's so much more enjoyable, so much more of a good experience than when we really, really, really want something, and then we just and then we use our effort, and then we finally get it, and we're not as happy as we thought we were. And I've totally found that out in my life. Like when I am able to let something go and find the happiness without it, and then I get it, and it's like icing on the cake. It's like it adds to my life as opposed to the other way. Okay, so yeah, how do we talk to the idea of someone having the power over their own life, having the power of getting something? Like the law of attraction, the teachers and all these people, they say like you have the power over your own life, which is, it's true, but it's not true at the same time. And I prefer not to have the power, because there's someone up there who knows so much more than me, and it's not the universe. Okay, because the universe, what do you think of when you think of the universe? Are you talking about the stars? Are you talking about everything around us? Well, all that's connected, right? All that is run by a power. All that is, it all fits together perfectly. So what are you going to praise? Who are you going to hug when you when you die? So when we're talking about the source, we're not talking about the universe. What does that mean? So for me, it's like I got to get deep to the source, the intelligence that makes all of this happen, the love that makes it all happen. Because if you think of it scientifically, there's the best quantum physicist. He was in quantum physics for a few decades. He got the Nobel Prize, and in his speech when he got the Nobel Prize, he said that the only truth that he could find in his 20, 30 years of studying quantum physics is that there is an intelligence, there is a love that makes everything work as it does, makes everything fit together as it does. So you can praise you can ask the universe, you can ask the universe, you can say that you have the power, but I personally have found it so much better to, as a believer in God who came down, as a believer in the ultimate form of love. As for me, when I look into the universe and I see the infinite of the universe, I see that as infinite love that God has for us, just like how Jesus said, all of our hairs on our head are numbered. And so, yeah, when I look at it, I see it that way, and I think it's totally fine to use as a Christian. For me, when I use it, I basically ask for something, even though God knows what I want. I meditate because Jesus meditated. It's something that, Jesus told us to make our prayers brief. And then he spent like all night on the mountain meditating. So what was he doing? Was he just repeating his prayer again and again? Or maybe he was being quiet. Maybe he was listening to God. Maybe he was walking and just having his thoughts. Who knows, right? But it's a really important thing. It's a human thing, and we have this association in Western society with meditation. We see these images of Buddhist monks. We see like the statues of Buddhist monks all sitting in that meditation pose. But so that creates this idea that it's associated with Hinduism or something, and we have this negative connotation about it. But it was a Jewish custom. It's a human thing. It's a human practice. It's not a religious practice. You can sit down and you can clear your thoughts. You can make a om noise, which means beginning and end. It's like it's just a noise, because sometimes words, when you say a word, it creates all these images of what the word means and like cultural things and everything. So it's kind of interesting. I actually have a recording of myself manifesting something live, which I didn't really intend to happen, but I was talking about manifestation. I don't even like to call it manifestation. I'm just using language that can be understood, but basically receiving gifts from the Father. And I was talking about it, and I was talking about how to do it. And then during that time, I had something that I really wanted, and I asked for it. And then at that moment, I decided, you know what, I'm going to be fine without this thing. And tomorrow, I'm going to plan on how to make it through tomorrow without this thing, and I'm going to be totally fine with having the patience to wait for this thing, or to deal with it, to deal with not having this thing when I want it. And then the moment I did that, and then I thanked God, and then I said, I kind of relaxed because I felt like everything's in His hands now, and I just kind of like I did kind of a sigh, and then I said, oh, like that. And then the moment I did that, the thing that I wanted arrived at the door. So I'm debating whether or not to put that out in public. I'll see if anybody wants to hear it. So it's kind of like a recorded demonstration of how a believer in Jesus can use the so-called law of attraction, basically how to get something that you want from the source of our life. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and thanks for listening. And I hope this was, if you have any questions or anything, please let me know. I also am trying to make something where if somebody has some kind of life issue or something they want me to make a video about, shoot me a text. All right, thanks guys, bye.